To order, my name is Diane Gary, and welcome to Finger Lakes Regional EMS Council meeting. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Kevin Becker. Lloyd Crane. Here. Jackie DeShaw.
Here.
Everett Ferguson.
Here.
Diane Gary. Jason Hay.
Here.
Jeremy Hares.
Present.
Tyler Hares.
Here.
Fiona.
Here.
Sandy. Here. William Little.
Here.
Brian Mace. Nathan Miller. Mike Moss.
Present.
Miles Person.
Here.
Terry Phillips.
Yeah.
Eddie Pearson Simon. Theron Smith.
Still here.
Matthew Sproul.
Here.
Edgar Wedge.
Here.
Have the initial attendance boxes.
Thank you.
Who am I missing? Oh, yes, I am. Excuse me so much. I missed you over here. Daryl Bailey and
Here.
Rich Mumford.
Here.
So, Madam Acting Secretary, how many are present then?
How many are present?
Right?
20. 20. We have a quorum.
And what was the seated number now? I'm so confused, I don't know which.
It is. No, it's not. I've got 2 open seats here.
Which one are you using?
The one I wrote on. Should be 26.
Four members.
Oh, we count.
Nomination.
No, we didn't tell this one. You can't figure out this one. She got to come to November. You start.
Numbers just don't add up.
I will double
At the
check.
annual meeting, we had 23 seated members with 19 present. After all of that, now we have 26 seated members.
Oh, maybe I get it wrong. Go ahead and start.
We do have a quorum though, so moving right along. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes? Is there any questions, discussion on those minutes? Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Move we accept the minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Tyler Hares, I'm here with my own.
Thank you. Moving right along into committee reports. Jason, I'm sure you don't have a secretary, seeing how you just got voted in.
Do you have our secretary report from 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, you were all here. Report complete.
So going into the treasurers.
Everybody should have received it.
Yes, sir.
Before you get off the secretary's report, are there members whose membership is now in trouble or defunct?
Yes, unless they walk in during this meeting. And are late.
But that should be, did the secretary remove any members?
Not at this right now, no. It would come at the end of this meeting if they don't show up.
Me.
Yeah, everybody should have received a report. Tailing after the secretary report. Any questions?
I move we accept the treasurer's report.
Sandy, thank you. Do I have a second?
Tyler Hares, I'm here with my own second.
Thank you. Moving right along to training and ed. Bill?
We need to vote on that?
Oh,
yeah, we know.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bill?
For training and ed, basically all the fall classes are up and going. And I did receive today the copy of the new continuing medical education program, administrative program manual. which was sent to all agencies. It should be available online to all agencies. It came out today. Other than that, I think that's what I have.
Does it have an effective date, Bill?
Pardon?
Does it have an effective date?
January
January 1st, I think, January 2020.
with a grace period until
June 30th.
June 30th. Yep.
I think the Ross Zastrow from New York City EMS. I think the anticipation is that this should be going up on the web any day now.
Yeah.
It hasn't been published. It was sent out to the coordinators listserv. It was sent out maybe to the Central listserv. It was sent out to staff. But they're basically just waiting for the mechanics for it to get up on the web. And I believe the program does start effective 1/1/20.
Another thing for training that I want to remind everyone who's an EMT, CFR, whatever, you have to do the protocol test. It's up on the web under Vital Signs Academy. Make up a little, you have to have your email and make sure you do it.
Madam Chair, everybody should have gotten a copy of the instructions to log on to what the state is labeled the LMS system, the Learning Management System. And it's got a step-by-step directions on how to log in, create your account, and to take the necessary tests.
Is there anything else for training and ed? So I have a motion to accept Bill's report.
Tyler Harris, Ontario County. I move that we accept the training and report.
Chairman Harris, Ontario County. I second.
Thank you. All in favor? Executive, you have my report. I please want to remind you that the CIC update is coming October 16th. And we have an original CII class going on right now. But remind your people, check your cards. Also notice that the conference, which I'm stealing John's thunder, is February 22nd and 23rd. It is a Saturday and Sunday this year. Trying something different. Anything else for me? Can you accept my report? Sandy.
Sandy Johnson, Yates County. I move we accept the executive report.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
We don't have anything for public relations, do we? Remap report. Do we know what come back to me?
REMAC
We
is
did meet in
tomorrow.
July, and it
Oh,
was,
the meeting tomorrow.
the July meeting was canceled.
We can stay here all night if you'd like to wait for the report. Moving right along. Jason, what a wonderful 17-page report you gave us for state
I
EMS.
think it was only 16 this time. Had a blank page in the middle for giggles. The State EMS Council report was disseminated to everybody. Highlights were the new CME manual is going to be coming out, and it actually came out 2 years later. So kudos to the Bureau staff and the folks that worked on that. There's some regulatory changes that are going to be submitted from the Bureau staff. Those are included in the report, multiple sections of Part 800 that will ultimately make it easier to become an EMT, easier to recertify, easier to that thing when you cross state lines. To get reciprocity, thank you. And it will also extend the certification period for EMTs in New York State from 36 to 48 months.
But not in effect yet.
And that's not exactly, and that's not happening now. The regulatory process, as these suggestions are made, they go out for public comment for 90 days. They come back. If there's need for change, they go out for another 90 days, and they're edited, and then finally go to the commissioner for approval. So we're looking at least a year to two on this process, but that is coming. And the big news from the state is Vital Signs is in October in Buffalo. And the registration for Vital Signs now is already exceeding what the attendance was in Syracuse last year. So I'll entertain any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Jason? Do we have a motion to accept his report?
I have one question. Jerry Harris, Ontario County. Did I read your report right? They're extending the length of certification, but decreasing the amount of hours for CME research?
You are correct, sir. However, the CME hours are now, and the extension of the certification hasn't happened yet.
Ross, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, just to clarify a little bit about what Jason just explained. The CME stuff is what was sent out and printed. Those changes are in effect when that's in effect. The 4-year certification cycle has to be part of the regulatory change, which was explained could take a while. But that's in the proposal. So don't look for your 4-year cards anytime soon.
Is there any other questions for Jason? With no other questions, do I have a motion to accept his report?
Wayne County.
Ontario.
Seconds that, all in favor? Aye. Anything to legislative review? Program agency. John.
So just to add to the LMS system report that Diane gave, one of the requirements is that every practitioner from CFR through paramedic needs to complete this prior to their next recertification date. They need to be able to show their certificate and produce the results. Otherwise, they will not be recertified. That's whether you're in a classroom setting or you're taking the CME recertification process. As Diane mentioned, the conference is coming up in February. We're currently working with several vendors on sponsorship angles, which is new that we started over the last couple of years. And we've picked up a few that we haven't had a sponsorship in years past. Lecture titles are pretty much confirmed. We have one open slot right now, and we're going to hit up the REMAC doctors tomorrow to fill that void. And then our entire program is completed, and we're hoping to have the registration up on the website by the end of October is my goal, so we can start the registration process earlier than we have in recent past. Our website is, I currently was able to get access to that, and we are in the updating process. So if there's things on the website that you see that we may need to update or change, just drop me a note so that we can make those changes.
She can check my pacemaker stat.
The protocol app that currently is out and people are using is not going to be updated right away. It's going to require a complete protocol app redesign and configuration. The state is looking at sending out a bid process and taking over the expense of managing that app, but that's at least a 6 to 12 month process. So the program agencies are currently trying to see what we can do to get a band-aided app, more or less, put in place so that everyone can continue to use the protocol app as it was meant to be used. So just to remind everybody that once they go to the new protocols, that's not going to be up to date on their app. That's pretty much all I have. I have an item for new business. Any questions?
Any questions for John? John, I'd like to thank you for all the work you have done for us. Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept John's report? Do we have a second?
Richard,
Thank you, Marcus. All in favor? And your report.
My report was handed out here. Did everybody pick one up?
Any questions for Donna? As there is no questions, do I have a motion to accept her report? Thank
Jeremy
you.
Harris, Ontario County. I second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
And Mr. Wedge, nominating committee again.
Yeah, my thunder has already been taken care of, so no, I have no report.
Thank you. Unfinished business. I don't think we have any.
Unfinished business, we talked about at the last, I guess it comes under unfinished business. The person, we talked about it. Came from executive to the last meeting in July, the American Heart Association course and book price listing. We update it or try to go through and update it at least once a year. I'm giving you the effective prices that we had approved at executive to come forward as of September 1. We did upgrade or raise the charges for a BLS card from $5 to $10 because it costs to us and stuff like that. The other major changes to that was the fact about a replacement card, because we have a lot of folks who continually call for replacement cards. So we, executive and training and ed had decided that that would be double the original cost of the card for a replacement, because we always have to go back through. They call, they need a replacement card, but they can't remember who their instructor was, what month they took it from, and who they took it from. So the first thing I start out with was your instructor, male or female. Sometimes we are confused on that as well. But, so it does take some digging in there to come back and look for those. With the e-cards, hopefully will straighten some of that out, but we don't know. Then the other thing was especially for the BLS, for a single person, for what we would charge per hour, or what we pay an instructor per hour for one person to come through and do a CPR class, because invariably we have a rash of nurses that all of a sudden decide on the 18th of the month that their card expires the 30th and they need a new card, whether it be BLS, ACLS, or PALS. So we now are going to take an additional $25 on if it is for a single person. Single being one person, not singular marriages, but one person. Because we try to, when they call, and try to get a date where 2 or 3 people can come at the same time. It's much more cost effective, but most of them, that does not work well for. So those are really the 2 big changes, and but the prices are here, and came from executive as a second motion.
Any questions for Donna about this? Any concerns? So we have a seconded motion?
I call the question.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of putting through this price increase, please vote aye. Aye. Do I have any oppositions? Nay. Therefore, it is passed.
The last thing that I believe is under the old business is the fact that we voted at the July meeting for the AEMT course, that because of the state reimbursement not covering the cost of the total course for the number of hours that are in it and the supplies and stuff like that, that we were going to start charging a tuition up front for the students, which would be non-refundable once they started, so that we would know that we had some guaranteed income. As it is, it gets to be, before it gets to be a longer class, people drop out, different things like that. Some people want to pay their bills, some people don't want to pay their bill, different things like that. So the issue came to, let's charge up front, and then we would assist the agencies that are eligible for reimbursement from the state once the person that is with them is certified by the state of New York, meaning that they receive their AEMT card. Then we would assist them in getting a reimbursement back from the Department of Health. And then they could either reimburse their kitty if they help the student come forward, or they could reimburse the student for the cost of the class. So we originally had, as of last Friday, we had 11 people to come to the class. 8 showed up yesterday, but with money, which is a good thing. And so that class will run because it will sustain itself for that with a little assistance from the college. And at the last meeting, it was discussed that perhaps I would do a spreadsheet in that, because somewhere down the line, we may need to entertain whether we're going to pursue that avenue of charging up front for future classes or not. And I did not do the evaluation or the spreadsheet in that for you today, being with elections and everything, and I know most of you like to be out here by 10 of 8 and don't want to listen to me after that. I will wait and do that in November. It is a quieter meeting.
This is just for the advanced.
Right now, it is just for the A&T.
So we have a motion?
It's not a motion.
No. It's a second motion.
No, it's just old business.
Okay. Old business. So moving right along, is there any other new business, or old business for us? And I don't think there is. Under new business, do you have any new business?
Yes. So I received a packet here from the Fairville Volunteer Fire Department requesting to move to a BLS FR unit. I had Ross briefly look over the packet. It appears to be it's all intact with just a few little minor things that need to be adjusted. So I would recommend that we acknowledge and accept their application to go to a BLS FR unit.
Is this a new
Do we have a
position?
second so we can discuss this?
Mike Moss, Ontario County Secretary.
Is there any discussion?
I can't motion, so somebody else is going.
I'll make the motion. No, go ahead.
Tyler's Ontario County motion that we accept.
Okay, and Mike, second that. Discussion on this.
Do we have to fix those problems before we?
Ross says they're not enough to
Okay.
hold up
I just wanted to make sure.
the progress of it. So,
Yes, sir.
Is this a new position? They're not changing anything, they're going to
so they ceased operation of their ambulance, but want to still maintain BLS FR status.
Ross, do you have anything to add to that?
No, the application that John has, the significant parts, it's a little different when an agency who was formerly a transporting service, certified transporting service, transitions to BLSFR. There's a little less requirement as far as paperwork, because some of that stuff is already established. So what I reviewed tonight has the important parts for the council to endorse that application and move it forward.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this one? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. Thank you, John. Anything else for new business? Do we have any correspondence? Could we have the roll call again? Ross, do you have anything you want to add?
No, ma'am. Hope to see you in Buffalo in the end of October.
So, Robert, I believe I'm going to come up with 27 minutes. All right. Evan Becker.
Here.
Lori Crane.
Here.
Jackie DeShaw.
Here.
Edward Ferguson.
Here.
Diane Geary. Here. Jason Hay.
Here.
Jeremy Harris. Tyler Harris.
Here.
Fiona. Sandy Johnson.
Here.
Gloria's not here. Bill Little.
Here.
Ryan Mace. Here. Nathan Miller's not here. Mike Moss.
Here.
Miles Persing is here. Terry Phillips. Eddie Pearson Simon is not here. Ted Smith. Matt Sproul.
Here.
Ed Wedge.
Here.
Darrell Bailey.
Here.
Rich Mumford.
Here.
Brian O'Kay is not here. And the other three would be Mickey Kelly is not here, Ray Kriegelstein is not here, and Aaron Reese.
Okay.
Did I count wrong? I could have.
No,
All right. So with that being said, we have two members that will not meet after tonight, the four attendants.
so the new secretary will be sending the letters of, thank you very much.
Okay?
Indeed.
The new secretary is shaking his head yes.
Correct.
And those two would be Nathan Miller and Patty Pearson Simon. Mr. Miller missed the May and the July meeting and the two for this evening. And Patty Pearson Simon missed the March, the May, and the two for today. And that would be, according to bylaws, an automatic removal. So that will open up one seat in Ontario County and one seat in Wayne County.
It's always a brief dream, isn't it? So I want to remind you, our next meeting is November 25th. Enjoy your pre-Thanksgiving festivities before you come here. Yes, sir.
Question for you. The three that were voted in at the annual meeting, are they counted as an absence for this meeting?
According to the bylaws, they are.
Well, they only get one miss on this meeting. It's one miss, but I totally understand and I totally agree. But moving right along, do we have an emotion?
I would like to move it.
Jeremy?
Jeremy Harris, Ontario County, I second that motion.
And Daryl can't make it.
All in favor?
All right.
Thanks for coming.